Remaining on the consent agenda is 9Q, setting a maximum 2026 property tax levy and proposed 2026 budget. I'll move this. May I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. Ms. Wetland.
Chair Fernando, Commissioners, this board resolution sets the maximum 2026 proposed tax levy and proposed 2026 budget. The proposed 2026 maximum property tax levy is $1,127,321,508, a 7.79% increase compared to the 2025 adopted levy. This proposed property tax levy includes a total of 9,762 full-time equivalent employees, a decrease of 249.7 vacant full-time employee positions achieved through attrition. As I shared with you, this budget was not easy to build. It represents tough decisions, slow growth, and careful management in the face of uncertain state and federal funding conditions. Staff are available to take any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Discussion. Thank you, Ms. Wetland. Discussion? Commissioner Ellison.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to Ms. Wetland. As much as I'll definitely be supporting this, and I think as we go into the months ahead, as we can find ways to try to, to get it as low as possible, I think it's going to be really important. There's some communities in my district where it's going up almost 20%, and so that's a lot. I've already been emailing with some of my mayors, and there's a lot of frustration from at least 6 of my cities that are seeing increases anywhere from 16 to 20% with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Also support this. I know it is not easy, and I know I had mentioned this last week, but being really clear, this is a result of cuts and lack of support from the state and federal governments that we have come to rely on for programs that we are required to offer. And it is the result of that disinvestment from other levels of government while maintaining the necessity of providing those services that our residents rely on. And so I really appreciate the efforts that have been taken to make sure that we're still delivering high quality, essential services to residents who need them, while obviously being responsible to the extent we can. And I absolutely agree with you, finding ways that we can trim back to the extent responsible to make sure that we can achieve a lesser impact on people whose properties are going up and they haven't realized those gains. So thank you.
Commissioner Gutell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say that I appreciate all the work that has gone into this. I follow the budget process really minutely as we'll start again right in January. I think I want to follow up on what Commissioner Anderson was saying. We know what's already come down as far as for cuts at the state and federal level, but we also know there's a future of cuts. We also know that there's a future of more absorption of more costs. So not only is this budget reflecting that, it's reflecting what the future may hold and how we can hold dollars so that we can be made whole. And so that when we look at next year's levy, we're not looking at double digits. There are a lot of our colleagues at the county level that are looking at double digits, and they are higher than us. The other ones that are lower, around 8 and 9%. So I think you're very mindful of the lives and the impact financially to our residents, and I just want to say how much I appreciate that. And we've got a long road ahead of us in the next couple of years as we see more increases come. So I just wanted to make this clear about what the path holds before us.
Commissioner Conley.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to staff and administration for all of the months of work on budget. That is incredibly difficult given what we've already heard. In light of, though, the conversation around these disastrous cuts to human beings that have been handed down from the federal government, they have neglected to shift that conversation to what it really is, and it's a property tax conversation. It's how we pay for the services that we provide, and we are very limited in that we can only do that through property tax dollars. It's no secret that I am very much interested in looking at new ways that we can bring revenue into our county. Because continuing on this path, with just using property tax to do what we do best, isn't sustainable going forward, especially given the unknowns with SNAP, Medicaid, and whatever else may come down. So again, to avoid double-digit increases in the future, we've really got to be looking at how do we diversify our portfolio? Where do we get new additional revenue? I think we're there. Just another little push from me, but I'm satisfied with where we're at. I appreciate that our core values are something that guide this budgeting process, and we don't take these percentages lightly when it comes to that. We need to maintain service delivery, and service delivery is feeding people. It's keeping people housed. It's keeping people healthy and alive, and that says a lot. So I think that is reflective in here, and as we go on into future budget hearings and conversations, we'll get a bird's eye view and a very close deep dive into what 7.79 really means going forward into 2026. So thank you.
Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and many thanks to administration for the work that leads us to this conversation in this quarter of our year, and I look forward to saying that again. As I consider this, and maybe this is sort of a peek under the tent for how I'm going to be thinking about this conversation in the next couple of months, which is continuity on our safety net mission. Absolutely. Sensitivity to what these financial pressures mean for homeowners. But if I were to sum it up in one word, it is continuity. Thank you.
Commissioner Lundy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to thank everybody who spoke before and also give my appreciation. I know, as we know, that the budget started in January 1. So all this preparation, trying to see what can we do without, looking at staff reduction through attrition versus RIFs, and also making sure that we invest in areas that need help, that it's not just some goal of everyone has a cut, but some areas are going to need more. And so being reflective of that, I know that whether it's a county or city, everybody is in the same boat right now to try to create resources. I'll just offer, as we go through this process, I would encourage anybody, residents who look at this, to actually go to the Hennepin County website, look up your property and see where your taxes are. A tax levy increase does not always mean that your taxes go up. It depends on things, and I always use this, and I did it last time, is if your median value went up 10% in your community and your house went up 9%, you're probably paying less taxes. It's always been a simple rule when I was mayor and council member that is the biggest determinant. Your share of the pie matters to the tax burden. And yes, this is going to increase the size of that pie. So I just encourage everyone to look at that and see where different things are. And certainly reach out and have conversations. But I do appreciate, and I do think there's an opportunity. I think, as Commissioner Gotell mentioned, this isn't a one-year deal. Like this, and so I do think the county, and I include the Sheriff's Department, I include the County Attorney's Office, we need to start to look at redundant activities. And that doesn't mean they're bad activities. It just means each of us need to do the same thing. And I think we do need to have those conversations. And I know that sometimes conversations can involve pyramids and turf. But the fact is, if we have things that are duplicative, we need to start to make it a single source. The days have ceased where we have the ability to just have everyone have things at all times. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And my comments are very complimentary to what my colleagues have shared. Immense gratitude to staff, gratitude to residents who depend on us, gratitude to residents who contribute to our mission via property taxes, via feedback. And so this is the beginning of a process in some ways, and a important signal of the type of leadership that this board is seeking to embody in a very, very unusual and difficult time period in our communities. People depend on the county. We are the caregivers of government, and in times that are harder, our services are often needed with greater need, greater complexity, and greater care. that's the leadership that you're hearing on this dais that has absolutely been reflected and extended and bolstered by staff. And so thank you, Administrator Wetland and team, for your first budget proposal. The other aspect that I would like to amplify is the ways in which this board is speaking about our attention to how much money we do comes in our care. And that is increasing revenue, that is looking at consolidation of efforts. And at least for me, I am quite interested, as we mentioned previously, in those mechanisms that decrease the pie before it even gets to us. There are tax efforts, or there are programs available that decrease the amount that comes for services and residents. And I'm, in addition to increasing revenue sources and being smarter about our spend, it is time for us to systemically understand who is all contributing to the pie, who all is taking a slice from that pie, and how are we advocating as fiercely as possible towards our mission, and with gratitude to the taxpayer, the people who are allowing us to fund this important work. That being said, there is a motion and a second on this item that conceptually represents a 7.79% increase. It's almost a $3.1 billion budget. It's tens of thousands of employees, workers, contractors, providers, and their livelihoods under our care, and we take that very, very seriously. Without further discussion, we'll proceed to a vote of 9Q. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.